For over 4 decades, the upper floor of Graceland has been the most forbidden place in rock and roll history, sealed off from fans, tourists, and even historians. But now, a voice from within the Presley bloodline is breaking through the silence. Riley Keough, Elvis Presley's granddaughter, is pulling back the velvet curtain on a legacy shrouded in mystery. What she unveils isn't just family history, it's a revelation. Rooms frozen in time, letters sealed with heartbreak, whispers of long-lost music that could change everything we thought we knew about the king of rock and roll. Why has one room remained completely untouched since Elvis's final day? And could it be true? Was there a secret tunnel beneath the house, hidden from even his most devoted fans? As Riley gently opens the door to the past, she uncovers a story pulsing with emotion, silence, and truth. Graceland is more than a mansion. It's a monument. For years, the second floor wasn't just closed. It was sacred. While thousands walk the halls below, gazing at gold records and rhinestone jumpsuits, the upstairs remained a ghostly archive of Elvis's most private world. Photos, no cameras, no tour. Until now, Riley Keough, actress, producer, and the fierce guardian of the Presley legacy, has stepped forward to share what lies beyond that staircase. And what she reveals, well, it's the kind of truth that rewrites a legend. To truly understand why this moment matters, we need to travel back, not to the concerts or screaming fans, but to a quiet stretch of Memphis countryside in 1939. There, a stately colonial home rose up, built by a printing magnate named S.E. Toof. It was elegant but modest, sitting in peace far from the spotlight. That would all change in 1957, when a 22-year-old Elvis Presley, already suffocating under the weight of sudden superstardom, purchased the home for $102,500. A fortune at the time. What he bought wasn't a mansion, it was a sanctuary, fortress against fame. But Elvis was never one to settle. Over the years, he transformed Graceland into an extension of his soul. Flamboyant, unpredictable, and achingly intimate. Perhaps no room reflects that more than the now infamous Jungle Room. Picture it. Shag carpeting climbing the walls and ceiling. Dark carved furniture imported from distant lands, and a moody vibe that felt like a tropical hideaway. But this wasn't just a kitschy lounge. It became a recording studio where Elvis recorded his haunting final sessions. Behind the spectacle was always a searching man. Just beyond the house lies another treasure, the meditation garden. Built in 1964 as a peaceful retreat, it would later become the resting place of Elvis, his parents, grandmother, and most recently, his beloved daughter Lisa Marie. Fans gather there in hushed reverence, placing flowers and personal tributes, turning a place of mourning into one of reflection and quiet connection. It's here, in these gardens, that Riley has often stood, watching strangers weep for a grandfather they never met, yet somehow knew. Since opening to the public in 1982, Graceland has welcomed more than 20 million visitors. Not a tourist trap, it's a pilgrimage. Second only to the White House in U.S. home visits, this estate holds the spirit of a cultural revolution. But while visitors admire vintage Cadillacs, custom motorcycles, and walls of awards, one staircase stands untouched. One level remains unseen. That's where Elvis spent his final hours, and that's where time stopped. The second floor is more than preserved. It's frozen. The bed remains made, his closet still lined with the capes and suits he once wore on stage. Even the shampoo bottles haven't moved. It's as though Elvis might walk in at any moment. And to the Presley family, that's exactly how it should stay. For years, only a handful, staff, close friends, and family, were ever allowed upstairs. Now, Riley Keough has become the first to speak about what it truly felt like inside. She doesn't describe scandal. She describes silent reverence, rooms humming with memories. There are personal recordings, Elvis's voice capturing fleeting melodies that never made it to vinyl, handwritten notes scribbled on napkins and tucked into drawers. It's in this hidden realm that Riley discovered a new layer of her grandfather, not the performer, but the man, vulnerable, isolated, and deeply human. Graceland, for all its grandeur, has always been a contradiction. Palace of glitter, yet a prison of privacy. Over the years, Elvis's net worth and estate have become legendary talking points. At the time of his death, his finances were in chaos. Lavish spending, questionable deals, and mismanagement had left the once mighty icon surprisingly vulnerable. Yet today, thanks to aggressive estate restructuring and careful branding, the Presley name is once again worth hundreds of millions. Graceland alone generates over $10 million annually, and licensing deals stretch from fashion to film. Riley, stepping into her role as the legal heir, hasn't just inherited a house, she's inherited a financial empire. Stewardship includes overseeing licensing, property development, and even media production deals linked to Elvis's name. She's invested in properties in Los Angeles and Nashville and works with a team of lawyers and advisors, managing everything from estate taxes to international merchandising. Rumors swirl about new documentaries, unreleased audio vaults, and even AI-driven musical revivals. If handled right, this could redefine the Presley brand for a new generation. Among the wealth markers, Elvis once owned a fleet of luxury cars, Cadillacs, Lincolns, and even a Stutz Blackhawk. He had a private jet called the Lisa Marie, custom-fitted with gold fixtures. Wrist wore Omega and Rolex. These weren't just status symbols. They were armor in a world where fame devoured privacy. Today, Riley is known for her refined style and selective endorsements. She's not flashy, but she's strategic. Her insurance portfolio reportedly includes extensive asset protection plans, health coverage, and business continuity strategies, ensuring that the Presley estate remains secure against unforeseen threats. And here lies the lesson. Behind the glittering image of Elvis is a story about legacy, not just of music, but of money, privacy, and protection. Riley Keough is turning that legacy into something sustainable. She's proving that it's not about clinging to the past, it's about understanding it, honoring it, and building something lasting from its pieces. Riley Keough never expected to become the steward of one of the most mythologized properties in American history. But after the loss of her mother, Lisa Marie, she found herself not only grieving, but also carrying the full weight of the Presley legacy. And it wasn't just about managing a brand, it was about preserving a sanctuary, a place that held more than just Elvis's history. It held his secrets. Perhaps, just maybe, one of the biggest mysteries in pop culture, recently opened up in a way no Presley ever has before. For drama, not for headlines, to finally illuminate the shadows that lingered upstairs in Graceland. She revealed details about rooms that had never been mentioned, including one space she called the quiet room. No photos, no fan pages, not even a whisper in Graceland tours. A space where Elvis, the global icon, retreated into silence with a sound machine humming faintly in the background and prayer beads in his hand. For Riley, this wasn't just nostalgia. It was about grounding her grandfather in something real, something deeply human. But here's the twist. Riley has made it crystal clear. No matter how much the public begs, the upstairs floor of Graceland will never open to tourists. And that restriction, oddly enough, has only intensified the speculation, especially around the most enduring and wildest theory of all. What if Elvis never died? It's a theory that refuses to die, and Riley knows it. Some stories will live forever, she said. There's more to this theory than just die-hard fans and conspiracy buffs. In fact, the theory is tied to real moments from Elvis's last years. Years filled with paranoia, strange disappearances, and cryptic behavior that still raises questions today. One recurring thread in the theory, a secret tunnel. Not a metaphor. A literal escape route hidden beneath Graceland. Some say it ran from the main house to the meditation garden. Others claim it stretched out beyond the property into the woods. Was it built for emergencies, privacy, or something more permanent? Riley hasn't confirmed or denied it, and neither did Lisa Marie. But here's what we do know. Elvis became intensely private in the 1970s. He stopped touring. He rarely came downstairs. He even had the house swept for bugs. Many believe this wasn't just anxiety. It was preparation. A former housekeeper once claimed, "There were places in that house I was never allowed to go, even after years of working there." Another employee said simply, "Some things, even we weren't told." And with the second floor absent from Graceland's blueprints, some believe that omission is no accident. That's when the 1987 report exploded. A journalist allegedly found a hidden concrete entry point near the rear carport. No photos, No proof, just his word, but it ignited the public's imagination, and once that rumor caught fire, there was no turning back. What followed was a cascade of supposed Elvis sightings. The most infamous? A man resembling Presley was spotted at the Memphis airport in 1978, just 1 year after his reported death, using the alias John Burroughs, same name Elvis used to check into hotels when he wanted anonymity. Coincidence? Maybe, but this sparked a flood of similar stories over the years. And here's where it gets even stranger. A photo taken by a tourist in 1984 shows a man working behind Graceland with Presley-like features and posture. Was it just a look-alike? Or something more? Beyond the mystery, Riley's role has expanded beyond just legacy. She's also navigating the tangled financial empire the Presley family built, and sometimes struggled to maintain. At the time of her passing, Lisa Marie Presley was in financial distress, with reports showing she had nearly $16 million in debt, including unpaid taxes and a mismanaged trust. But Riley has begun flipping the narrative. With smart restructuring and careful licensing deals, Graceland's value has stabilized. Currently generates over $10 million annually in revenue, not counting merchandise and film licensing. Riley's net worth, once estimated under $2 million, is now growing steadily and projected to cross $12 million within the next 5 years. If she continues on this trajectory, industry insiders believe she could grow the Presley estate into a $100 million brand by 2030. Much of that will depend on how she handles the physical assets. Graceland itself is worth an estimated $75 million, and it sits on 13.8 acres of high-value Memphis land. The property also includes a fleet of Elvis's classic cars, a Rolls-Royce Phantom Phi, a pink 1955 Cadillac Fleetwood, a 1973 Stutz Blackhawk, and even a rare Messerschmitt microcar. Riley has vowed to preserve these relics, not auction them off, choosing instead to keep them as symbols of a lifestyle that was once opulent, chaotic, and uniquely American. One watch Elvis wore, a diamond-encrusted Omega, now sits locked away in a private vault. It's rumored to be worth over $1.8 million. Fans often ask, what's Riley like outside the public eye? Surprisingly private. She drives a modest electric SUV in Los Angeles, avoids red carpet drama, and focuses on raising her daughter quietly. But make no mistake, she's a powerful force behind the scenes. She recently acquired a small stake in a luxury real estate firm that caters to high-profile clients in Malibu and Aspen. Her plan? To diversify her wealth beyond Graceland and into high-end property investments, with early projections placing her real estate portfolio value near $8 million within 3 years. But the weight of the Presley legacy isn't just financial, it's emotional. And for Riley, keeping that upstairs floor sealed is as much about protecting her family's truth as it is about honoring the mystery that keeps the world watching. She understands something most celebrity families don't, that sometimes the silence is more powerful than the story. And Riley, without saying too much, may have just breathed new life into the greatest mystery rock and roll ever gave us. Sometimes the truth isn't found in the spotlight. It's hidden in the rooms we're never allowed to enter. Presley name was never just a family legacy. It was a global brand wrapped in mystery, wealth, and lingering questions. When the recent legal battle over Lisa Marie Presley's estate came to light, it didn't just crack open family tensions. It reignited decades-old rumors that Elvis may have left behind more than just chart toppers and jumpsuits. A secret heir? Sounds like tabloid fiction, until you follow the money. Because buried beneath the speculation is a staggering financial empire worth over $500 million. And where there's that much at stake, silence can speak volumes. The Presley estate, managed through the meticulously guarded Elvis Presley Trust, isn't just sitting on vintage memorabilia and licensing rights. It owns Graceland, multiple intellectual properties, and global branding deals that pull in millions annually. For any alleged heir to claim a piece of that, they'd need more than a lock of hair from an auction bin or an old letter. They'd need DNA, court recognition, and a legal miracle. Still, it hasn't stopped people from trying. One man demanded Elvis's body be exhumed for DNA testing. Denied. Another claimed to have matched hair samples from a collector's vault. Dismissed. These stories might seem absurd, But they paint a picture. Elvis isn't just remembered, still being chased, decades after his death. And in the center of it all stands Riley Keough, just 34 and thrust into a whirlwind of inheritance, legal obligations, and public scrutiny. Riley didn't just inherit a house. She inherited a battleground. She's now the face of Graceland, the name behind every licensing deal, and the final voice on what stories are told and what doors remain closed. Literally. The second floor of Graceland, still off limits. Not even cameras are allowed past the staircase. Riley has made it clear, some things stay sacred, but she's also not backing away from responsibility. Riley's turning Graceland into more than a nostalgic pilgrimage. She's championing a digital overhaul, scanning Elvis's handwritten lyrics, personal letters, and set lists with forensic precision. Her team is using AI-based metadata tagging to archive thousands of documents. These efforts aren't for show. They're part of a wider academic push. She's working with universities, building partnerships that will explore Elvis's life through new lenses. Race, music innovation, fame's psychological cost. Not just who he was, but why he mattered. And yet, through all this innovation, Riley remains guarded. She's refused to speak on the alleged siblings, just as her mother Lisa Marie did before her. Is it strategy or pain? When the stakes are this high, and the spotlight this unrelenting, silence becomes a form of protection. It's also a power move. After all, the less you say, the more people wonder. That silence that still fuels whispers across fan forums and late-night radio shows. Claims of women who supposedly received hush money, handwritten notes, or private calls from the king himself. Most of it unverifiable. But in a world where Elvis lives on in impersonators, estates, and royalties, reality and myth blur easily. What's not a myth, however, is the money. His net worth has reportedly surged past $25 million in just the last year alone, thanks to the estate's revival under her leadership. Analysts expect that to double by the end of the decade if current trends continue. Her financial advisors have structured a sophisticated portfolio, including diversified investments across real estate, media ventures, and intellectual property licensing. She recently acquired a contemporary estate in the Hollywood Hills valued at $8.2 million, complete with a private recording studio and museum-grade storage rooms for Presley memorabilia. Her luxury lifestyle has remained understated but telling. She's been seen driving a matte black Porsche Taycan, electric, sleek, and valued at over $180,000. On her wrist, a vintage Cartier Panthère, a subtle nod to both heritage and high fashion. She doesn't flaunt. It's more like curated elegance, every piece echoing legacy. Insurance coverage reportedly includes a Lloyd's of London career protection policy, a multi-million-dollar life and health coverage portfolio, and even asset-specific clauses on rare Presley heirlooms. It's the kind of structure you expect from royalty, because in pop culture terms, that's exactly what she is. But even royalty has to fight to remain relevant. Riley's handling of the Presley estate isn't just about preserving the past, it's about controlling the future. She's overseeing biopic negotiations, rejecting multiple scripts she felt were exploitative, and greenlighting only those that align with her mission to humanize the man behind the myth. She's also quietly building a streaming docuseries around never-before-seen footage, original demos, and family reflections. If done right, it could be worth tens of millions. And she's not alone in balancing legacy with reinvention. Other celebrities of the same echelon have faced similar turning points. Think of how the Jackson estate had to reframe Michael's story through Broadway shows and documentaries, or how Paul Newman's brand survived through charitable trusts and a carefully crafted food line. Riley seems to have studied them all and learned that controlling the narrative is more valuable than even the assets. The question isn't whether Riley Keough can handle the Presley empire. She already is. The question is what she'll do with the myth of Elvis, because at this point it's not just a family legacy, it's a cultural artifact, and artifacts, if not protected, become relics. Challenge? To keep him alive, not as a ghost in rhinestones, but as a man who changed music, shook up culture, and left behind a complicated immortal mark. If there's one lesson to pull from all this, it's that legacy isn't just inherited, it's built. Riley's decisions show a blend of emotional intelligence, financial acumen, and brand control that many in Hollywood should study. She's not just preserving Elvis, she's expanding his relevance, brick by digital brick. And there you have it. Tangled legacies, hidden heirs, luxury empires, and the raw truth behind the velvet curtain of Hollywood. From Elvis's sealed secrets to Riley's poised control of a kingdom wrapped in music and myth, we've peeled back layers the tabloids barely touch. If you loved diving into the drama, the money moves, and the whispers behind Graceland's gates, don't forget to like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and hit that subscribe button. We've got more untold stories on the way. Coming up next, a Hollywood icon whose fall from grace stunned the world, and their unexpected comeback will leave you speechless. Until then, remember, Tinseltown legends never die, they just get rebranded.